Alright folks, pay attention because this one is super important. Why? Because YouTube wants you to get as much of this as possible in every single video that you make. However, for your intro, you need to keep it as short as possible. Just like that. Under 15 seconds. Thank you very much.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.com.
Yeah, I know what some of you have just done. You've paused the video and you've posted in the comments, nah Rob, your video intro is actually 19 seconds long. Rah. You're still watching, aren't you? Hello everybody, I'm Rob and welcome to vidIQ, the YouTube tool and channel that aims to educate you on your YouTube journey and chart that success through 2019. In this series, our aim is to help you get more views, more subscribers, more watch time in this case, to ultimately grow your channel. To watch the full playlist, click over here. And if you want to see more awesome vidIQ stuff, along with helping us to get up to 300,000 subscribers, make sure to click that button and the notification bell. Oh, and before we move on, a lot of people ask me this question, what is this? It is a metric time. Search for it on Amazon and then slowly back away when you realise how much one of these costs. Somehow the set just doesn't look complete when it's not there. Alright, watch time. For those who've never heard this term before, it is generally considered the most important analytic on YouTube. Basically, it is the physical number of minutes and hours your content is watched for by people on YouTube. But why is watch time more important than views? Well, let's take a look at it from this perspective. Views represent clicks or visits, but they don't tell you for how long somebody is on the YouTube platform or on the mobile application. The more watch time YouTube has from its audience, the more adverts they can sell to the audience, making more money for YouTube and more money for the video creator. So it stands to reason that the more watch time you can create from your videos, the more YouTube is going to reward you and share your content with more people. But also bear in mind that you don't have to monetize your content to benefit from this. The search and discovery engine is separate from the monetization engine. Let's do a simple example here. You've got a video with 1,000 views with an average view duration of 1 minute. That gives you 1,000 minutes of watch time in total. But you've also got a video with 500 views with 5 minutes of watch time, which gives you a total of 2,500 minutes of watch time. Which do you think has got the better chance of doing well on YouTube in the long run? Yeah, it's probably video B. Now that is a really simple example, but YouTube have stated themselves generally when it comes to watch time, audience retention and all that sort of stuff, more is better. That is their own words. But there are a lot of ways to get more watch time, and that's what we're going to explore right now. Let's look at the numbers first. If you haven't already seen our beginner's guide to analytics, I recommend you watch that video at some point to help with navigating around these screens more confidently. With that being said, on the Creator Studio dashboard, click on Analytics and then at the top of the graphs, click on the Interest Viewers tab. You should now see an average view duration box, and if you click on this, it will show you a graph of, on average, how long your videos are watched for. This is useful from a channel perspective, and as we've already said, more is better, but this graph doesn't take into account how long each individual video is. So to improve watch time, you really want to start by scrutinizing every single second of a single video. To do this, click on the videos link to the left, which lists all of your videos, then choose a video you want to analyze. Click now on the analytics section, and on the first screen here, you should see this audience retention box. Because you see, here's the thing, you can make a video an hour long if you want to, but if nobody's watching it after a single minute, that's going to send some pretty negative signals to YouTube. Audience retention is all about keeping that viewer interested throughout the entirety of your video, keeping them informed, interested, intrigued, entertained, and you want to try and get that audience retention to as close to 100% as possible. Generally speaking, that's very difficult to do, so a general benchmark is somewhere around about 50%. And this box will tell you all that, the total length of the video and the average view duration converted into a percentage. To really drill down into this data, you can click on the See More button and then watch the video to see where there are peaks and dips in your content. At 48% audience retention, this video is okay. We do lose 40% of the audience in the first 30 seconds of the video, which is not uncommon but does suggest that the intro didn't quite deliver on the promise of the title and the thumbnail. For the next 2 minutes, things level off, which is a good indication that the remaining audience is invested in the content. But then there is another alarming dip in the final 20 seconds. That suggests the outro of the video was too long and people knew the valuable part of the video was over long before it actually finished. There's always loads of useful stuff you can glean from audience retention graphs. Take this one for example. What on earth happened here? Audience retention actually went up 30 seconds into the video. This happens when viewers are rewinding a certain section of the video and watching it over and over. But holy smokes, the video falls off a cliff a third of the way into the video. Why? Because this video is all about how to delete a video on YouTube, and I gave the audience the answer right here. According to the audience, the rest of the content is absolute fluff. So you already have a lot of data on your channel to analyze, to tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, to eventually get more. Because, as YouTube says, get out of my way. Alright, let's talk about how important video intros are. 6 minutes into a video about watch time. You are always going to have a sharp drop off in viewership as soon as the video starts. For some people, it's just not going to click and they will turn off instantly. And then there's going to be another bundle of people who are going to stick around for maybe 15 or 30 seconds to try and determine whether this video delivers in some way from the thumbnail and the title. That's why there needs to be some sort of hook or payoff, a way to entice a viewer to invest a few more minutes into the video and hopefully keep them engaged for the entirety of the video. You can look back at pretty much any video on vidIQ and you'll see me trying to entertain, inform or intrigue you in those first 15 seconds before you see the vidIQ splash screen. That is my attempt to get you to watch longer, and I think it works generally speaking. Other how-to educational videos will give you the final result at the beginning of the video, and then the rest of the video is about how to get there. For like compilations or stories, there may be an epic part of a video that's used as the very beginning intro, and you don't actually see that part until maybe 4 or 5 minutes into the actual video. It's kind of like teasing a story before you watch the beginning of it. So if you've not tried this before, experiment with a dedicated intro to your video and try to keep it to 15 seconds or less. Oh, and this thing,
vidIQ.
vidIQ.
vidIQ.com.
Your branded intro should be no longer than 5 seconds. Alright, this next bit might be a little excruciating for you as a viewer, and it may well damage my watch time, but I need to do it to prove a point. What you're watching right now is me not making any editorial changes to the video. I'm just going to let it run with this timer. Because what you will usually see right now is a change of angle or a zoom in, zoom out, maybe an audio interrupt or something that excites a viewer a little bit. Because as you well know, the average audience attention span of a YouTube viewer is less than a goldfish. So how do you fix that? You do something called pattern interrupt. So for the first 7 minutes of this video and for the rest of this video, I'm employing pattern interrupts like this. For those 40 seconds, there was no changes at all, and I'm sure you can appreciate the different tone, style and pace of a video at that point. I don't know if you noticed, but I cut the music at that point as well. Think of pattern interrupts as attention reset buttons. You still know what the video's about, but there's something new to look at on screen. They help explain how I can get my clock back up on the shelf in an instant and how you never see me fluff up my lines, because believe you me, I do it all the time. I try to have a pattern interrupt at least once every 10 seconds, including something like this subscribe animation down here, but other video creators do pattern interrupts every 2 or 3 seconds. Now there is one huge drawback to the video creator when you use pattern interrupts, and that's editing. It adds hours to the process, so try not to go overboard, which is something I often do, but fortunately I love the editing process. At the very least, start to watch video creators who operate in your space on YouTube with a critical eye to see if they adopt pattern interrupt strategies and how often they do it. You should start to notice that the best video creators in your space adopt a certain style and tone through pattern interrupts that you should be at least aware of if you're not trying to follow in some way. Also, along with pattern interrupts, interrupts, you should consider something called B-roll, which is pattern interrupts in itself. This is where you have a voiceover, like I'm doing now, but there's other footage put on top of me actually writing out the word, this is B-roll, but it's kind of tricky to sync these two together because I don't know how much time there is in the B-roll section of the video along with my voiceover. Did I get that right? We're going to have to see in the edit. No, it didn't. I was way off. Alright folks, we're now 10 minutes into the video, and if you're still watching, thank you very much. Give me a hashtag I'm still watching in the comments below. The question is, why are you still watching? And I think the answer is, because I'm still on topic. You want to know how to get more watch time, so that's what this video is solely about. This is the same as having too many topics on a single channel. If you're going to try and cover many topics in a single video, at least tell the viewer in the title or the video intro, or do another dedicated video on that topic. Stay focused, edit ruthlessly. The most important currency on YouTube is time. You want as much watch time as possible, but your viewer wants to spend their time on YouTube as efficiently as possible. Just because YouTube says this doesn't mean you should make longer videos to get more watch time. You're pandering too much to an algorithm and doing a disservice to your audience. Now, I appreciate the irony here. You may be asking me, Rob, why are you making such a long video on watch time? My answer and intention with this video is that I want to give you as comprehensive a video as possible on watch time, so you don't have to spend more time watching other videos about the topic, and it will save you time as a video creator in all of the future videos you're going to make, which are going to be tighter, more succinct, and they serve your audience better. Fingers crossed. Now, remember when we were looking at audience retention and we saw at the end of a video there can be a big drop off when the audience realizes the video is ending. And that could also be because you say trigger words such as thanks for watching, or I hope you enjoyed this video, or that's it for this video. So to avoid that, try trimming off the last 30 seconds of a video when you say something like thanks for watching, or continue to provide awesome advice until the end like this. Thanks for watching, see you later. Phew! That was abrupt, but you get the idea. And while this is a comprehensive beginner's guide to watch time, there's a lot more we can tell you about the topic. We'll save that for later on in the series. Enjoy the rest of your video making day.